Hey everybody, my name is Geoff Fagien. I'm a filmmaker and director of photography based in South Florida. And if you guys are new to this channel, this is a place where I talk about some of my work, show some behind the scenes of that work, and talk a little bit about gear. And like I like to say, this video is no exception. So we're going to talk about the Canon R5, which was a camera that hasn't been released, but the specs of it have been released, and it's been a camera of much debate online. I'm not going to dive into every specs, but the short of it is it's a camera that's a mirrorless camera from Canon that is supposed to have 8K up to 30 frames per second, RAW capabilities, and 4K with 10-bit capabilities. Now, there's so much information online. What I will push you guys to do is to go look at that information, because we're going to skip over and talk about what nobody else is talking about, get straight to the point. So with all the great specs, nobody's really thinking about the price point of this camera. So as you've seen in my recent video and probably all over the internet, Blackmagic recently reduced the price of their Pocket 6K camera, $500, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that much, but it is a nice little bump down. Red is coming out with the Komodo, a 6K camera coming out soon with a Super 35 sensor. Now Canon announces this 8K no crop camera that's full frame, and it is great. It's mirrorless. But I think the one issue that no one's looking at is, even though it's mirrorless and it's in the body of a stills camera, we still don't know what this price point of this camera is going to be. So when everyone's comparing, you know, the Blackmagic, the GH5S, Nikon, the Panasonic S1H, we don't know what the exact price point of this camera is going to be. This camera could very well be a camera that's north of $5,000. And who knows, it could be well north of $5,000. Look at the Canon 1DX Mark III, which is a camera that's now sitting at $6,500 US on B&H. That is a camera that at its time when it was released, at least that series of cameras, it offered 4K 60 and at really good image quality. It had its quirks, but it offered it at a high price point. And although Canon did something really great, and, you know, the proof is in the pudding, we still haven't seen any footage. We haven't seen any, like, even prototype products. We've only seen specs. The price of this camera is something that everyone has to remember, because the second that they announce it, if it's in a sub 10,000 but above $5,000 price point, most of the people that are going crazy about this camera, talking about how it's a game changer and this and that, they're not going to be able to afford this camera. Because what I notice in these groups, most of the people talking about the Canon R5 basically sit in this price bracket where they get cameras between $1,000 and $3,000. So that's cameras like, the GH5, the Blackmagic pocket cameras, the Sony A7 series, whether it's the A7 III, the A7S Mark II, A7R Mark IV. There's these brackets of cameras, the S1H, Sony FS5. We're basically getting into EVA 1 territory. And I think, the R5 would probably be more popular than the EVA 1, but the EVA 1 is also starting to come down in price. So basically, the whole point of this video, I'm going to kind of wrap it up around here, is when you're looking at the R5 and you get enamored by the specs, remember that we do not know what the official price, release price of this camera is going to be, and be prepared that it may be out of the price that you may be willing to spend as a filmmaker. You may look at your business and say, I'm only willing to spend X amount of dollars on a camera. Or you may be doing well enough where you're like, this camera is much cheaper than a Red. I like the color science of Canon. I'm willing to go spend, let's say it's, a $6,000 camera or an $8,000 camera. But keep that in mind before your eyes get super wide. And just remember, we don't know what the price of this camera will be. But regardless, the camera is absolutely a step up. Having 8K, having the ability to have RAW, it is really great. Even the ability to do 10-bit internally, really cool as well. So there are some really cool things coming out from Canon, and it is great to see them wanting to cater towards filmmakers. It's just we have to kind of keep that in the back of our heads. On a lot of the Facebook groups I've been talking to people, whenever I bring up the price, Normally Facebook groups tend to be very contentious. There's a lot of great people. There's a lot of, people who are there trolling, but mostly great people. And whenever I bring up the price, most of the people are like, I never thought about that. I didn't realize that this camera could be that expensive, but nobody's actually brought that up. So again, that was the goal of this video. Just keep that in mind. And, hopefully, in an ideal world, it would be great to see a $3,500 R5, like some people have said, but that is just a rumor. And I like to say sometimes if things are too good to be true, they are. And I don't think the Canon R5 is too good to be true, but I think the price that people think that it's going to be at is too good to be true. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. I hope you guys enjoyed the quick content of this video. If you did, please hit that like, subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And until next time, my name's Geoff Fagien, and thank you for watching, everybody. And while I'm doing this, also remember, occasionally I do go live on this channel, like this video is. This was a live video, so if you guys hit that subscribe button, you can get the notifications when I do go live, and we can actually have more of a discussion. Sorry, this was more of a last-minute video, but I will then go off again. Have a good one, everybody.